Marjaavaan gang in studio. Riteish D.
Hello.
Welcome onto the show, man.
Thank
I
you.
always say, whenever you come in, you should have it as a soundtrack of your life. AB's song with Vishal and Dadani. Here to my player, Riteish D and Piggy Chops.
Yeah.
Super stuff. And I'm so happy that, that song is so special to you that you actually did a social media handle because of it.
Yeah, I remember many years ago, Karan Johar had called me and asked me that this new platform called Twitter, you should sign up, and he told me whatever, this might be useful in years to come to promote films and all that. So I went there and I didn't know what name to put because Riteish Deshmukh was too long, and so because of this song and Riteish D, all my social handles are named Riteish D. So thanks to Abhishek Bachchan.
Sweet. Rakul, I have to say this, as a South Indian, but a Bombay South Indian, there are relatives and friends of mine in south of the Vindhyas who give an arm and a leg to just be here. And no disrespect to Sidharth and Riteish.
मैं तो दोनों टांग कटवा के उधर बैठने के लिए.
Correct, that too. So wonderful to have you back in the movies here, and many congratulations on Dede Pyar De.
Thank you so
such
much.
a huge resounding success.
Thank you so much.
Sid boy, what's up, my brother?
What's up?
Yeah. So wonderful to see you. So
Back here again, like 2 months.
yeah, which is
Nobody
good.
beats him. He's back in 2
And
weeks.
last
Yeah,
time I
he's
came
back
here
in
was
play.
also with Sid.
Yeah, and 2 weeks ago, Riteish had a very different experience. It was Pandeyji in the house.
Yeah.
Now you'll ask, where is Pandeyji? This is a vital question.
Because when Pandey ji was here, हम लोगों ने उनको कहा स्वागत नहीं करोगे हमारा.
Lovely, bro. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Finally, your baritone comes into play for the right reasons.
Yes.
You always looked at you when you debuted saying that that's a very Amitabh Bachchan kind of voice, but the dialogues were never matching the voice. And Milab Zaberi's managed to do that, man. And you seem to have taken it like fish to water, man.
No,
You're liking this shit.
Because absolutely.
Lovely.
When I was growing up, I'm a big Mr. Bachchan fan. So unfortunately, I saw all of them mostly on cassettes. At that time, and that's the drama I think that we all come from culturally as moviegoers or as actors, larger than life. People saying dialogues to convey things, and that is what when Milab, narrated the film to me, I found really excited. I think nobody's done it. I haven't done it. I thought it would be great to play this larger than life character who's so strong and say these, dramatic lines. Has a lovely, interesting new love story, I feel, and then has such a new, villain to be pitched against and fight against. So I think it's like fresh wine in an old bottle. We've got a style of it's the other way around. It's like we've got a style of like the 70s and 80s, but the content in it is complete, new and contemporary.
You've been around long enough, Riteish. So this is a valid question to ask to you. We saw an entire era where Rajkumar Saab and Shatru Saab and Mr. Bachchan, they all had their distinct identities. Likewise, Rajesh Khanna. And Rishi Kapoor was the only person who was considered a natural actor because he didn't really have his takya kalams, so to say.
Sure.
Cut to post Dil Chahta Hai, when it all became about natural acting.
Yeah.
There is no Riteish Deshmukh style and Varun Dhawan style and Sid Malhotra style.
Sure.
And you would identify with that because in the South there is a Rajinikanth style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but only there, not in the current era again.
Yeah, because I think guys like Surya and Vikram and all these guys, they're
Mahesh
regular
Babu
guys.
and Arjun and all of them are normal.
Yeah.
They don't have a style.
So going back to stylized
Lumiere.
drama and stylized drama, Riteish.
Yeah.
When do you know if it works or it doesn't?
See, I just feel that in today's day and time, everything that works is because of conviction. The conviction that the director has and the writer has in the written material and the performer. So eventually, we always feel that, be it the films that I have been part of, be it this year Total Dhamal or Houseful 4 or Marjaavaan. These are comedies and Marjaavaan is an action drama, romantic action drama. All these films are not in the zone of a Dil Chahta Hai, Zindagi Milegi Na Dobara, Andhadhun. These are hardcore, pot-boiler, commercial, mass films. So we have these audience who like to laugh that way.
Or Le Bhari.
All Le Bhari. And we'll come to that also. And I'm saying that when we're talking about Marjaavaan, there is enough audience that likes to watch this. Fair enough. They may enjoy a film like this or may not enjoy a film like this, depending on the performance or the content of the film. But I'm not saying that they will not go to watch a film just because it's that kind of a genre or it's too massy. No, there are a lot of audience who would like to watch a mass film, provided that it's good entertainment. For example, like we come to Lay Bhari also. When I was playing this character in this film, I have never played such a larger than life guy in a Hindi film with these lines. And the irony of it is that he is 3 feet tall. And then he has to be really larger than life and walk with a swag. So my reference point for the swag was Lay Bhari, but in a negative shade, and trying to push it. So I feel there is audience, provided that we make an entertaining and an engaging film, which we think we have. And when you ask me a question, how do you think whether it's working or not? I think when we are working in a film with these dialogues, there is a certain rhythm to it. Every line, every punch, there is a rhythm. So whether it's Sidharth's line, "मैं मारूंगा मर जाएगा दोबारा जन्म ले से डर जाए," there's a punch to it. It's more poetry than prose. There is it's rhythmic. So you have to catch the rhythm of that.
Yeah, very beautifully put. Because if you look at the whole rap movement, and you've been a part of that. You've done a fair amount of rapping also yourself. I'm just saying, what is rap? I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's rhythm and poetry.
Yes.
And you see a whole bunch of the rap movement happening. And you see guys like, Kambari and, Divine and Anyway and all these guys.
Yeah.
So even in dialogue writing, I think the trick is that, people accept it because if it has conviction or it has that.
Those are definitely our roots.
I'll just cut because you said Kamba. Any of these guys.
Yeah. And you being the millennial that you are, I understand that it's a very Rekha-esque kind of character, and you're looking lovely in the little bit that we've seen in the trailer and things like that. Did it come easily to you? Just the
looking
the
lovely?
dialogues. No, looking lovely is natural.
Yeah.
Thank you. The role, I don't know about easy or difficult, but I think when it's something that you've not done before, it's different from the regular. It's it's challenging in a nice way, and that's what you're looking forward to do. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, I knew what I was signing up for, and it's a role which is like the 90s with that grace and that shairi and all of that. And Arzu as a character also has a very large heart. She's someone who understands love. She understands selfless love, if I can say so. So I really enjoyed playing something which is not me, which I've not seen around in the past few years. But 90s, there was Rekha ji in Mukaddar Ka Sikandar, or there was Tabu ma'am in Jeet, and those are the kind of roles. I mean, this is inspired from those kind of roles. I'm not saying it's anywhere even come close to that, but inspired from those.
And you're a Forces girl, isn't it?
Yes, I am.
So in that aspect, you must have, because you've been traveled. All the Forces girls are so well traveled.
Yeah.
So whether it's the B centers or the C centers,
Right.
or
Border
the
areas.
urban border areas, you have a fine pulse of really of all kinds of cinema, isn't it?
See, the thing is, people think that we'll have pulse of cinema, but we don't have cable connections in half the places. So I started watching movies much later when I was in my high school, because at least till my 5th grade or 6th grade, Dad was in the Northeast or on the border areas, and we were in Aizawl or different places where there was not necessarily theaters, even if there was cable. So films used to come in much later. We used to watch films on cassettes 6-7 months post
No,
release.
but don't you have those army screenings? Like the army club will always have one screening.
That's
Oh,
now,
wow.
and those open theaters are only in the cities. Like Delhi has that, or your bigger cantonments like Pune has that, but not your Manipurs and Aizawls and
Nobody has
Rajasthan
theatres now. They
interiors.
have one big.
Not in the.
You have an army connection. You grew up in defense colony.
Yeah, no, I was just shooting for a film. I was shooting in Kargil, and they have
Now
a
they
massive
have-
theatre.
Now they have.
That's
when
what
I
she's
was a
saying.
kid,
Yeah, I'm saying
Yeah.
now.
See, now they have. Of course, I know.
Now
I
they
mean,
have.
now
Yeah. Then they didn't. Then we used to all put a cassette. Everybody would sit together in the mess and play a movie on a TV. And that's how I saw Kuch Kuch Hota Hai and all those films 4-5 months after the release of those films. But
So we're going to see all that other everything, everything.
yeah, well,
Chandramukhi-esque.
yes, Chandramukhi of Devdas. Well, I thought it was something very different, and I hope that people like it. Even if 1% people go and say that, "Arey, haan, yaar, you can compare," then that's it. I'm done. I'm happy.
Bro, Milap is such a lovely guy. I mean, I didn't know him at
He's
all.
saying it with so much surprise.
How do you know?
Because John is a friend of mine, and when Satyamev Jayate was happening, John said, "Have you met this guy?" And I said, "No." And he said, "I'm going to bring him." And when they came for an interview, I just spent like an hour just hanging with him and talking to him. He's just a
Did he start
sweet
writing?
guy.
Did he start talking about Hindi cinema? Did he?
He's beautifully filmy.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the whole deal.
He lives that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good thing about him. I think you needed a director who is convinced by this kind of cinema, this style of cinema. I think in this style, conviction is paramount, and then he has lots of it. And even though sometimes maybe we were not, and he used to push us, or we used to bring him down, but I think it stems from the director, from the storyteller, and we're just mouthing his lines.
Yeah, and the styling is really cool. The longer locks. You've got some tattoos on your fingers, I noticed.
Yeah, so the tattoos we came up with, initially I told him, I said, let's not give him a last name, this character. I'm an orphan who is brought up in Mumbai ka Basti. So then we came up with the thought that let's give him these tattoos that, since he doesn't know who his parents are. So he goes to every, religion, whether it's a mandir, a masjid, a gurdwara, a church. That's why he has all 4 tattoos, and he says, I don't know what my last name is. So I think for me, all are equal.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
And we need secularism in this day and age. Yeah, it's so
Absolutely.
important.
Well, life would have been easy if you didn't have a last name.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
Yeah,
Or if we get to choose our own
And I find
religion
a-
at 18 or something.
I find a lot of
No, but
times.
what
It'll be
do you
great if-
choose? No, why do you
if you
just
wanna choose.
worship? You just worship.
Not worship. I'm saying if you have to get an identity, ek time ke baad you choose when you grow up.
But it's beautiful, and the little bit of scene of the film is a really secular film. Not just the fact that Raghu falls in love with Zoya and things like that, but the fact that there is equal weightage given to all faiths.
Yeah.
And the film industry is such a wonderful example of that. Yeah, I don't think any of you even think of what caste or creed or this and that is.
Our industry
Yeah, it's beautiful.
is Amar Akbar Anthony.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely,
agree.
yeah.
और
I
एक
agree.
ब्लड बॉटल से तीनों को ब्लड
Beautiful.
जाता है, and that is what our industry is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the surname thing you're right about. There's so many times. In fact, I told the guy who was writing the IDs, saying that there are chances Riteish will just say Riteish. I mean, we're all proud of our surnames. There's no doubt about that. But you're right. I mean, sometimes it just helps if it doesn't.
You know what? There was an article I was reading, and it was just interesting to know that just before religion came into being, people used to get their last names according to the jobs they did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you come here
Correct.
and you say, okay, fine, you're a good fighter. Okay, go there, and those are the Kshatriyas. You're a good this thing. You do this, and they were given job. Eventually, their generations took those names, and then that became caste.
Correct.
Yeah.
Even the Lakadwalas.
Correct,
and all of
Lakadwala,
that.
Batliwala,
Yeah,
ये
all
things
of
started
that.
becoming-
The Parsis, there's a Parsi girl who's walking in. We'll ask her about that. Because Parsis have screw wala and daru wala and bottle wala and everything, isn't it?
How life would have been easy without our last names.
I totally feel that humanity is the biggest religion, which is what we are forgetting. And I think if all of us follow that, we don't even really need an identity. Identity doesn't stem from religion. Identity stems from who you are as a person and what you bring to the world.
Yes, and coming back to Marjaavaan.
I was just going to say this is very profound conversation.
Yes,
I love it.
we went very deep.
Love
I
it.
have
Love it.
these wonderful videos of you singing Adele and a
well-
couple of other things. I'm not going to make you sing again. Don't worry about it. Okay.
She was
So-
hoping.
Yeah, I know. She was hoping.
She's
Oh
just
God.
such a
Guys, don't
wonderful,
start. Guys, don't
beautiful
start.
voice.
This is
Because I
probably the
know
second time she's come here. I
Yeah,
guess.
this is the sector I'm here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and bro, the thing is that they're going to make her sing all day. So
Quite right.
If you,
Quite
if you
right.
give a double, DT with reverb, we're set. We're set.
We're quite set.
but wonderful to have you back.
Thank
and we
you.
were just
Thank you for
talking
having
about surnames and how
Yes.
sometimes maybe it's better to have surnames according to your profession. And Parsis do that, don't they?
Parsis do
All
actually.
the time. Yeah.
I know all
You're
Parsi
quite
surnames
right.
sound
The,
alike.
I was just going to say something and I realized it might sound wrong, so best not to.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Like Batliwala, Daruwala,
Correct.
Bandukwala.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, totally. So how good is your sign language? Can you say I love Radio 1 in sign language?
I can. Would you like me to do
Yeah,
it
if you
towards...
could do it there. If you could get
Okay.
close up of that, Mr. Cameraman.
Okay.
You and Me was great.
You know, forget that.
It was easy, but
That was
that's
awesome.
damn good.
Amazing.
That was
Yeah,
outstanding.
very
मतलब
nice.
I love
That's really
radio.
अगर इन्होंने जो बोला है वो बिल्कुल सही है तो mind blowing
I
था.
think it is. I think it is.
And who taught you the language? You
I had a wonderful sign language coach who used to come home while I was actually filming Student of the Year too. She's very well known. Her name is Sangeeta Gala. She actually prepped a lot of actors for Barfi and Black as well. So she has done a fantastic job. And
Did she work with Rani and Mr. Bachchan in Black? Yeah.
I think she did. That's
Yeah, I
what she
think she
told
did.
me.
Yeah, I
That
think-
is what she told me.
I think Rani told me about that.
Yes.
So you spent what? How many sessions did this take you?
We spent about 3 or 4 months together at home, and it was amazing.
Wow, that's great. Like you go to all these places which have schools for people who are differently able.
Yes.
And you find that their other senses are so finely tuned. You know, they might lack in one
Absolutely.
Very
sense.
heightened.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know, there's other stuff that's really heightened.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
just takes you those 5 minutes, I think, then you gauge and you can just have a conversation with them. I mean, even meeting her,
Absolutely.
your
Absolutely.
instructor, we did lines together.
She's incredible, you know.
Actually.
She's deaf. She's not mute, so she can't hear. But when she speaks, you can't even tell that she can't hear because she's so gifted and so talented. She speaks absolutely normally, and that's why I think it's a strength actually that she has.
So the symbolism of, you know, Ravan's 10 heads. And you know, in Dasera there's Ravan Dan and things like that, and obviously there's a bad character, which is beautifully filmy and is very well done. And given that his name is Vishnu, means that this must be one of the most interesting parts that you have done, and you've done quite a few parts.
Yeah, it is. No, it is interesting because to play a negative guy for an actor who is perceived to be comic, you know. Thankfully, I got a chance when Sidharth
No,
and
it's
myself
good.
did
No, yeah.
Ek Villain together, and I guess that was received very well then, and that gave me another lease of life to probably attempt something different. And Milap had written that part. Milap wrote this. He came to me, and apart from the physical difficulties while doing this role, I just felt it was amazing to have someone who's vertically challenged yet menacing. And how do you portray that? What are the things that he will do? How will he walk? What kind of attitude will he have? You know, all those things. And also his name is Vishnu, and there is a philosophy to that. Why his name is Vishnu? Vishnu के 10 अवतार, वामन अवतार, वो भी बौना था, and तो इसलिए वो कहता है मैं राक्षस नहीं हूँ, मैं तो अवतार हूँ. So there is philosophy to
And that is the
his
mark
name.
of Vishnu which you're wearing in your
Yeah,
forehead.
so that's
Yeah. Because as Tamrams, when we go into temples in the south, like
Yeah.
with my grandparents,
Yeah.
no more.
yeah.
We used to get that done, yeah.
Sure,
We used to
I'm
get
sure,
that done,
and also I feel eventually it's exciting to. I have been when I did my first film, I thought that would be my last film. मुझे लगा पहली पिक्चर आखिरी होगी, मुझे इसके बाद काम नहीं मिलेगा, और पहली फिल्म भी लक में मिली थी. मुझे एक्टर नहीं बनना था. I never had this ambition to be an actor.
Yeah,
But
you'd gone to study architecture in Boston. isn't
no,
it?
I was an architect here
Yeah, you
in
already an
India. I went to America to work as an architect, and that's I got into movies somehow because I was offered a film. And after 16 years here, I just feel I have been extremely lucky to have worked with many actors, right from Amit Ji to Shah Rukh to Akshay Kumar to Ajay Devgan. And I feel fair enough, you know, I don't judge my contemporaries or whatever. They have had the fortune of probably some actors don't like to work in multi-stars or 2 hero films or whatever, and which is fair enough. But I think I took the decision doing it, and I was blessed to have worked with all of them. So I can say I have shared screen with Mithun Da and Rishi Kapoor and all these stalwarts to learn from them. And apart from that, in my own career, I just feel I got to play a woman in one film. I played, you know, I'm part of 4 franchises that have worked. And got to do play a serial killer and vertically challenged villain.
It's a good life, Riteish.
So it's
life.
gratifying.
I think
As an actor, it's extremely gratifying.
One of the
to
few
have
lucky
to-
actors in the country who gets to change his, you know, physicality on screen, and I think he's the first one to play somebody who's vertically challenged and negative. No one else has ever played a character like this.
And you know, the line of sight thing couldn't have been easy, right? Because I remember Shahrukh telling me that
We'll get there for you.
we'll have many
it's,
other interviews, if you know what I mean,
yeah.
that line of sight will come
Yeah.
up. But I'm just saying that I remember Shahrukh telling me that they had dug something and he had gone in there
The pit.
and different levels. So did you have to do that with
No, we
levels?
see. There's not one way to do it. There are different ways and techniques you can use it, and also we were challenged by budget,
I'm sure.
so we did it a far more clever way, which is
No,
different.
Absolutely, and I feel that what Shahrukh did was extraordinary. So I have not seen the film, but I saw he was gracious enough to show me 40 minutes of his visual effects on his set when I visited him, and I was just amazed. I said, "This is taking Indian cinema with visual effects, and the kind of budget that he spent to create that was extraordinary,
Yeah.
and also what he created was magical." So and see, there are two things. Can we do that? No. So find another way to fit in.
Yeah, and there was
within-
Mr. Kamal Hassan who did the complete other extreme. There were no
Correct.
special effects at that time.
Correct. So,
You know,
so
yeah.
we found what we wanted to do, and we obviously it was most of the times walking on the knees, trying, or some portions were shrunk with green screen
Green
behind,
screen,
without
yeah.
green screen, and we had a great Future Work studio, working with us, and I thought they've not shrunk me completely. So they have shrunk my body, kept my head slightly bigger. So they have made me my entire, height in a proportion that would look like he's vertically challenged, and he's not grown, like others do.
I think you're really representative of what an actress has to be in this day and age. I mean, you're such a massive star, and
Thank
you've
you.
taken a role not based on the duration of that role, but the weightage of that role.
Right.
And you were told right at the beginning that this is the way it is.
Yeah.
Did you have to think, or did you just immediately say, I want to do this?
Of course I took my time, as in I went back and I had to sleep over it, but then I thought there were a lot of people, because I was still shooting for Dede at that point, and the film hadn't come out when I signed Marjaavaan, and then I just told myself that as an actor sometimes you have an instinct and you feel that the urge to, or the desire to do a specific role, and then you can't let the people who there's a certain set of parameters that people want you to follow, or there's a certain way that you follow, let you decide the kind of film that you want to do. So which is why I just thought that just take the plunge. I mean, I want to do it. I don't know when will I ever get a chance to play a prostitute's character again, because it's not the usual character that you see. And then she has some great dialogues and some great emotional scenes and stuff like that. And then even today we talk about Rekha Ji's role. So like I said that Milap had told me that this is how we're looking at it. So I thought, let's do, sometimes it's the impact that you create that matters and not the duration.
Yeah, everybody talks about how beautiful you are. I mean, it's so apparent. Anybody who sees you,
Thank you.
on
That's
screen or off screen.
sweet.
But this has got to be that film where you want people to turn around and say that she's just beyond the beauty, isn't it?
I hope
True
so.
to the year, despite it being a nice film,
Yeah.
was steeped in glamour in that aspect.
Right.
This is just a performance-based role, isn't it? I mean,
Sure.
you don't even have words to it.
I don't. I have
So,
sign language and
are you
expressions.
really looking forward to this as your test on fire?
I am, and I'll be honest that when I heard the film, that's exactly what I thought. I said this is the perfect opportunity to play Zoya. Would open up a lot for me in terms of how people would possibly, and I hope that this happens, see the expressions and the sort of communication that is not obviously verbal or through verbal dialogue, but through sign language. And that's something that I think is very exciting as a new and young actor, because it's not every day you get offered something like this.
I saw you fall on a bench in a making-of video, and you were not looking very happy. Did you get hurt or something, or what?
Oh, that was action. I had to fall off and break it. I actually
And
died.
You're doing a Jackie Chan on this one.
Yeah, it was my
You're
own
doing your
stunt. We
action.
did it, but though it was made of different kind of wood, which would break apart in climax. And so there's another character that throws me onto it, and I land on it, and it breaks, and give a few takes. I think I did it twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in that aspect, Riteish, having worked with action dadas across the sands of time, we undervalue their importance,
absolutely.
isn't it? It's unbelievable. Now they
All
put
our
their
stunt
lives-
team,
they put their lives on the line, and hats off to people like Sid, who are also shouldering some of that responsibility in doing some of their own stunts. But at the end of the day, it's those guys. Isn't it?
No, but right from the entire action team, their prep goes into making action, but also trying to convey that action with a certain emotion that goes in the film, and what the actor wants to say, what he's trying to portray, how much larger than life that. And it's not even that, so many times, okay fine, we are doing own stunts, we are jumping with cable, kicking and landing, but there are 8 people holding that rope and dropping it exactly at that time.
Yeah.
Okay, if they miss time, you are in danger. So all that effort, they're holding, even however heavy you are, they're holding. Shot, अरे camera लग रहा है थोड़ा रुको. They are holding on their entire might and strength in the sun. And actors के लिए छाता आता है, लेकिन उनके लिए छाता नहीं आता है. So really hats off to the entire stunt.
I think it went out really smoothly, all thanks to the action team.
And you're looking big, brother.
We had to.
Think back of that boy at
I have
Silver of the
to.
Year. The wiry boy.
Yeah.
Look at you. Right,
So you had to. It feels really strong to beat up 20 people, but I at least have to look the part.
Okay, last couple of questions before we wrap up. We're going into concert season. You have such great music in your film also. Amit Trivedi is on concert. Dua Lipa and Katy Perry are coming into town. U2's coming into town. A concert that you've been to, Indian, abroad, anywhere, India, abroad, anywhere, that was really cool. If you haven't been to one in the recent past, something as a
I
child.
went about 3 years back to Tomorrowland, which was one of my best experiences. So multiple artists, 3 days of Tomorrowland, music from 24 hours. It was beautiful.
So you were like in the general area just bobbing.
Not the general area. They have a VIP area, but we did walk through the general area also. But then we were on the deck. So there's a deck on top, and then you see there are lots of people. The 3 decks, so 3 VIP zones, and then there are almost about lakhs of people down there. And then there's the head stage. But it's beautiful. I think for me it was life changing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Concert, brother.
I don't know life-changing concert, but I remember a very commercial one way back in Delhi. Because I was the youngest in the family, my brother was 6 years older than me. So and I think it was Pepsi was bringing Ricky Martin at that time. So it was like
Even the Vida Loca.
so Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Delhi. And so all my cousins,
And he broke a lot of hearts because suddenly he turned out to be a wonderful guy.
Correct,
He
yeah.
said, I'm gay.
Yeah.
So,
That was
all
much
of a
bigger.
sudden women were really heartbroken.
At that
Because
time, I'm talking about the 90s. I'm talking about 90s,
Yeah.
I think mid 90s or late 90s, and I was only like 10, 12 years old. And you pretty much follow what your, elder cousins and brothers, you want to be cool. So I was like, you want to go? I said, yeah. I only had one song, and I'm trying to just tag along to be really cool. And it was actually really fun. I'd never seen so many people fill up a stadium, and his energy and aura. So actually, that's my first memory of a concert.
And also in Delhi, there must have been some guys saying, Oi, Bhangra chala.
They were random things. No, actually, but although I thought Delhi had way better taste at that time. In 90s, at least they were cool.
Yeah. It was better then. It was better then for sure.
Correct.
So,
I know.
sorry, you were saying something?
No, nothing.
No, I was saying that, I've grown up on Hindi music,
Mm.
so I never listened to English music.
No, that's okay. That's
So
why I said,
what-
even Amit's on concert. Yeah.
What happened was, 2 concerts I'll talk about. One was the first time when Michael Jackson came to Mumbai.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
This
Ah.
was where the rocket came out.
When the
of-
rocket came out. And Raj Thackeray, who's a dear friend, he had organized it, and he was kind enough to, have us there. And I was in college. I didn't know. I've heard his song. Lyrics का आता पता नहीं था कि Michael Jackson क्या गा रहा है, मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा था. We didn't have Google that time to search the lyrics and try to figure out. But I said, now he's coming here. India only knew 3 people in every village: Michael Jackson, Jackie Chan, and Bruce Lee.
Correct.
There were 3 names and Charlie Chaplin. 4 names that everyone knew. Michael Jackson ne gaya, tu Charlie Chaplin ne gaya, whatever. Even if they didn't know the music.
Yeah.
So, iconic, king. I was there. I was just amazed by this spectacle where he got this huge tank on stage. And I had never seen something like this. It just blew me, the kind of speakers, because he had flown this entire equipment in 2 planes in Mumbai. Then his concert was delayed and his equipment was on the airport, and all that happened. So that was one concert that changed my life. I remember buying Michael Jackson CDs, and then getting those CDs to have those booklets of lyrics, and I used to keep reading and trying to figure out. कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा, फिर भी समझ में नहीं आया. That's that. The second concert was when we were traveling for the Unforgettable tour with Amit ji and Abhishek and all of us, and we were in London. and it was George Michael's last concert.
Oh wow!
George Michael,
So
25.
AV must have scored some passes to that.
So he did, and so it was Amit ji, Aishwarya, Jaya ji, Preeti, and myself. And Abhishek had to fly to Mumbai for something. He missed it.
Must
And
have been kicking himself.
so we were there, and it was the last time George Michael was singing on stage. So these were two iconic moments for me.
Whoa,
Wow.
Tara, I can't beat that.
In the world, and I've seen it 13 or 14 times now, and I will continue to do so. It's something I hope that they can bring, this side of the world. I think we're totally ready for that. And also I missed Barbara Streisand's Hyde Park concert last month or 2 months ago, and I'm kicking myself for it because I'm such a huge fan. But again, I hope that she
There's a video
comes
of her
here.
singing Phantom of the Opera.
on your show.
On my show.
Wow.
I remember that.
Listen, you guys, my time is up. Best luck for Marjaavaan. I'm
Thank
going to
you
go into the
so
theatres and
much.
expect a great pot boiler. I remember
Thank
seeing
you,
you.
yes.
Rowdy Rathod in Chandan. So Chandan
Oh
might not be a
my.
bad cinema
But
to go and see.
Chandan is
Marjaavaan.
unfortunately
Chandan
now
is
closed?
shut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to
Shut
Gate
now.
Galaxy
Gate
on
Galaxy.
15th of
Gate
November,
Galaxy.
guys. 15th November, Marjaavaan.
Super. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
My ladies are lying there.